Anytime you're shooting with the sun low in the sky, you are going to get interesting shadows. Here I've got the sun beaming through the branches of this tree and picking out these shadows on the ground. It looks really cool, and by using a manual exposure in my camera, I'm going to be able to produce some really striking images. So for this frame, I'm going to use this camera phone's zoom lens because I really want to crop out all of the extraneous detail, all of that distraction. And I'm just looking for this little patch in front of me. Just right now, that looks really nice, and I've got these clouds just clearing and producing this really nice, striking looking frame. And the light is all gone, but here it comes again. I can see the clouds just moving over the horizon. I can see these little patches of light sort of heading in this direction. So timing really is absolutely everything here, because the clouds are what's creating the interesting light and making this kind of cool looking effect. But it does mean waiting. Here we go. As the sun comes over, you can see that it's picking out these shadows. I'm going to tap here and pull down with my finger, and that's going to reduce the exposure. I want these shadows to be as deep as they can be, and it's making this green grass almost luminous, which looks really cool. By default, these cameras really want to produce even exposures where you don't have very deep shadow or very bright highlights, which is the opposite of what I'm after here. I really want to deepen all of those shadows to produce something that looks really cool, and then it's just about finding where that interesting detail is and exposing for it correctly, and that's going to produce a really cool looking frame. So let's take a look at the frames that I shot of this supposedly interestingly lit scene. It's always nice to see a real disaster of a frame, and this certainly qualifies. Dull, flat, boring, misexposed, you name it, it's in there. You can see that I've just missed the interesting light, so there's no cool shadows on here. It's also a very flat exposure where there just isn't any interesting light in there at all. Always nice to pick one out that can go straight in the bin. This frame, I think, really captures the light that I was trying to find there. You can see we've got these nice deep dark shadows in there and some really lush, really verdant grass that looks really great. Bit less of a fan of this little path just sneaking in the top corner there. Detail is absolutely everything in photography. You've got to be on top of your compositions, and you've got to be exact. So this little frame in there, a bit of a crop there would sort that out nicely. This is my favourite image. These really nice kind of almost lurid greens in there look really cool, I think. And there's lots of depth to these shadows. This is exactly the right exposure and composition for me. The perfect exposure and good timing to get that nice light into the frame. This is a really cool, striking looking frame.
Ow.